Hi everybody, and welcome into another brand new episode of Caton'S Corner right here on CUTV. As always, I'm your host, Tom Caton. For those of you who have been watching the show over the course of these last few years, you may know that February is particularly a very special month for me, most importantly. February is the month when I initially launched this show. We're a few days past the actual anniversary, and that's okay because we had no plans to film any studio shows that day. But it was just over 4 years ago on February 22nd, 2019, when I first launched Caton'S Corner on CUTV. In the early days of the show, I was still very nervous and trying to get used to being in front of the camera because for more than a year and a half, I was always working behind the camera. So stepping out in front of the camera for the very first time was absolutely terrifying for me. And I would be lying if I said I wasn't nervous at all. But I've been hosting this show for 4 whole years and 9 seasons now, and while I've repeatedly stated this, not many CUTV studio shows have the capability of running this long on this platform, as most studio shows only last for a few semesters if they're lucky. When I was asked to launch my own show, as I said, I was nervous, but I was more excited because this is the type of profession I hope to pursue after I depart this university this upcoming May. I've also said this many times before during the course of this show, but I will always be grateful for receiving this opportunity to host my own show and for receiving this platform to talk about what I wanted to talk about. But thank you to everyone who has helped me with this show the last 4 years, whether you were my director, a guest, or if you worked some other position behind the scenes. Thank you so much for everything and for this platform, and it is bittersweet to really see my show come to an official end in about 2.5 months, but I'm seriously going to cherish every single moment I can with what little time I have here though. Although I've been cherishing every moment since I first set foot on this university almost 6 years ago in 2017. But please keep tuning in to every episode this season as we continue on this ride to the very end of Caton'S Corner. It's truly been one incredible journey these last 4 years. But anyways, let's continue on with the show and move on to our next segment. Let's discuss some hot topics. All right, kicking off hot topics this week is news that streaming service Netflix is seriously cracking down on password sharing. Earlier this month, Netflix announced that it would begin rolling out new password sharing rules in Canada, New Zealand, Portugal, and Spain. This announcement comes after Netflix updated its online frequently asked questions page with information on account sharing. The company also detailed how it aims to crack down on password sharing in the United States as well. The new password sharing rules detailed protocols to prevent people in different households from using the same Netflix account. Under those new rules, which are currently in practice in Chile, Costa Rica, and Peru, Netflix users would be required to verify their home devices each month, and devices outside the home would be blocked, encouraging those users to create their own Netflix account at a discounted rate. These new rules come after Netflix has discovered more than 100 million users share their account passwords with friends, family, and even complete strangers, according to the company's 4th quarter shareholder letter. Furthermore, when these new rules are launched, Netflix does expect a bit of cancel reaction from customers. Next up, fans have become increasingly excited as recording artist Beyoncé has announced a world tour following the release of her 7th studio album, Renaissance, last July. The 32-count Grammy Award winner first announced the tour on her Instagram page on February 1st. Beyoncé's tour will begin later this spring with tour stops in European countries before she comes to the United States for shows beginning in July. Tickets for her show are selling out very quickly and do come with some expensive prices as well. Beyoncé will make a tour stop at Acrisure Stadium in Pittsburgh on August 3rd this year, with the cheapest tickets starting at around, believe it or not, $630. And of course, prices do increase depending on how closer you get to the stage. Some front row / pit tickets for a Beyoncé show will cost concertgoers several thousands of dollars just to witness Queen Bee up close and personal. Beyoncé's Renaissance tour is expected to last just over 4 months, launching in Stockholm, Sweden on May 14th, and will conclude in New Orleans, Louisiana on September 27th this year. Continuing on, recording artist Rihanna has been the talk of the town following her performance at the Super Bowl 57 halftime show on February 12th. While she did not introduce any new songs during her halftime performance, she did, however, indirectly introduce a new pregnancy. The entertainer sang a medley of her biggest hits while visibly pregnant with her second child, as a representative of Rihanna had confirmed the news with CNN. Fans of the singer were very excited to see Rihanna, as this halftime show performance was her first live performance since the 60th annual Grammy Awards back in 2018. Furthermore, online speculation about the pregnancy began as soon as Rihanna hit the stage at State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona for the halftime show, as she wore an all-red ensemble that appeared to show off a baby bump. Rihanna's pregnancy did not appear to slow her down during the performance, though, as she danced and belted out some of her biggest hits, including We Found Love, Rude Boy, Umbrella, and she closed out the show with a performance of Diamonds. Rihanna's news of her pregnancy became viral as the halftime show concluded, having just gave birth to her first child with partner A$AP Rocky last May. Next up, more news about recording artists. I feel like that's everyone today. But Grammy Award-winning rapper Cardi B and her husband Offset have teamed up with McDonald's to launch the Cardi B and Offset meal deal. First launched on Valentine's Day, this meal bundle comes as the first celebrity couple meal to be featured by McDonald's. In an interview, Cardi B stated she's always asking Offset to take her to McDonald's for a bite after wrapping up late-night studio sessions, and both celebrities are excited to have a meal named after them. The couple first teased the meal during a commercial that aired during the Super Bowl. If you go to McDonald's to order this meal, you can expect to find a classic cheeseburger paired with tangy barbecue sauce and a large Coca-Cola, and a quarter pounder with cheese paired with a large High-C orange lava burst. The meal deal also comes with a large order of French fries and an apple pie to share with your significant other. The Cardi B and Offset meal will be available for a limited time at your local McDonald's. And to wrap up Hot Topics this week, former astronaut Buzz Aldrin shared news that he and his longtime lover, Onkifer, got married on his 93rd birthday on January 20th. Aldrin rose to fame as he was one of the pilots aboard the legendary Apollo 11 space flight in 1969, becoming one of the first two people to walk on the moon alongside with fellow astronaut Neil Armstrong. Aldrin is only one of 4 people in the history of mankind to have set foot on the moon, and although this is Aldrin's 4th marriage, he said that we were, quote, as excited as eloping teenagers. His new wife Anka has a PhD in chemical engineering and is the executive vice president of Aldrin's company, Buzz Aldrin Ventures. Lastly, there may be a 30-year difference between these two individuals, but that is not stopping them from expressing their love for one another. But that does conclude this installment of Hot Topics. Be sure to tune in to the next episode for another installment. Okay, before we go to commercial, I want to make a quick announcement here. It is officially the season of Lent for those who celebrate. The season of Lent lasts 40 days up until Easter Sunday. During this time, many local Lenten fish fries are occurring in the surrounding area. If you take a look at this graphic here, it shows the local fish fries that will be taking place every Friday throughout the season of Lent. We have fries listed in Bell Vernon, Brownsville, California, Monessen, Ritchieville, and Uniontown. Now, obviously, this list just pertains to the local fish fries in the surrounding California area. If you do not see a fish fry included on this list, you can certainly check out the full list of local fish fries by visiting www.wtae.com and check their fish fry directory for all fish fries that will be hosted in the greater and surrounding Pittsburgh area. All right, well, I know we just got started, but we need to take a quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Caton'S Corner on CUTV. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the show, everybody. My one and only guest of the show today is a very special person and friend. He is a retired Cal communications professor that I have had the pleasure of having for class back in the day. And when the time came for my final season, I wanted to invite him back on the show one last time. Please welcome Mr. Jim Carter. Mr. Carter, hello, thank you for being here.
Sure thing.
And it's funny, I know I can only address you as Mr. Carter because that's what I just called you back in classes, so no, that's what I'm going to call you from here on out. But I know who you are. Some people that may know who you are aren't really here anymore, but I do want to take a quick moment and introduce yourself.
Well, I came to Cal in 1990 and taught audio production, video production, broadcast management. We used to have a class that was a history of media in the United States. I taught quite a few different classes, but mostly the last 10 years or so was all video production at various levels. I saw the transition from, well, when I first started on TV, we had 2-inch tape that was on reels about this big. Mm-hmm. And down to my last few years, we had a little recording device that recorded on SD cards. So that's quite a change in the technology over the years. Mm-hmm.
I know from taking your classes, obviously I learned a lot, and I've taken it with me in the future here. But I know you retired. It's almost 4 years, May 2019. Does it feel surreal at all to say like that you retired 4 years ago?
Yeah, I was thinking about that on the drive over. I didn't realize it had been quite that long, and it's like, Well, the first year or so, we had COVID going on, and I had a major surgery just before COVID started, so that year was kind of shot. Mm-hmm. But it is kind of amazing to think it's been about 4 years.
And so what have you really been up to since retiring? I know you're still local in the area. That's why we were able to get you down here today. But what have you been up to since retiring?
Well, people would ask me just before I retired what I was going to do, and I said ride my bike. And I've done a lot of bike riding, actually. Last June and October, I took long trips. In June, I went from Manhattan, New York, to Schenectady, New York, with a tour guide. Mm-hmm. And then in October, I went with a group of friends. We went from Pittsburgh to Washington, D.C. By bicycle. And the first day of that, we started when a hurricane had hit.
What are the odds?
Yeah, what are the odds? So that day it didn't go so well for me. I didn't do the whole day. When I got to West Newton and then had my wife come get me because I was just too cold. That rain had me wet the whole time.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, and the other thing I spent a lot of time doing is many people know that I cook in cast iron Dutch ovens, and I've been going to different Dutch oven gatherings throughout the United States. Mm-hmm. Actually, last September, there was a National Dutch Oven gathering at Cadura State Park near Hanover, Pennsylvania. So I went to that, and they have competitions at these events. I don't normally enter any of the formal competitions, but there's an informal competition throughout the day when we have potlucks, mm-hmm. and I did win a golden spoon last September.
Nice. Because I remember, like, back in classes, I know you would, for finals week, I know you'd bring in food and stuff for us to eat, and you're like, ask, what would you want? And I think like everyone else was like, oh, just bring in something store-bought. And I said, you talk about all your cooking skills, and I said, mix a loaf of bread or something. I think you said everyone complained about it at first, but when you brought it in, you're like, good call, Tom.
Yeah.
I was like, you're welcome. But do you have besides all the stuff you just stated, do you have any other favorite parts about retirement? Do you have any least favorite parts of retirement?
One thing that is both the least favorite and a favorite part is that I don't have a schedule.
I know you were so used to having a schedule.
Yeah. And it's, on the one hand, it's great. I can get up when I get up, which is usually still between 7 and 8. And but I get to laze through my breakfast all morning if I want to, and I don't have to. I don't have to leave the house. But on the other hand, I don't have to leave the house. It gets kind of boring at times. So yeah, that's kind of a double-edged sword. But I've been able to maintain contact with some of the people from here, and go out and have a meal with them, and that's always fun to do.
Do you miss teaching as a professor at all here?
I miss the interaction with the students. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of why you teach, so you can talk to people and guide them on their journey. And I don't have that anymore.
Because I know, so you taught 1990 to 2019, and I know me and a couple other students, we were trying to push you to go one more year. It's like, oh, you want to go for an even 30 years? Like, no.
No.
I said, I don't blame you. But so if you want to explain, what was your favorite part about teaching here?
Well, I guess it's the guiding of students and seeing how they've done after they've been here, and hoping you've had an effect on that. I mean, I know that I have one guy who was through our program that worked the Super Bowl this year, and I think it was his second or third one. So, that's always exciting to know that students you had an effect on have been successful at some level.
And I know so some of us, like I know me and the other students that you taught, I know we kind of look up to you as a legend in a way. I was saying before we started filming, I know there is some of the new kids here. Unfortunately, they don't get to experience a Mr. Carter class, so they're missing out. But do you think you left a legacy behind for any students at all? Because I know I certainly think so.
No, yeah, I mean, I know I had an effect on some on people in their lives. They're out there working. They may not be working in radio or TV, but they're working, and they're working at things. And I'm sure that some of the way I did things in classes, they either decided, no, they don't want to do that, or it was a good approach to something. Right. And hopefully they've kept that going.
I know this is more a question towards my dad in a way, because my dad's going to be retiring sometime soon. Do you have any advice on what maybe he can do for when he retires? I'll make sure he watches the show afterwards.
Well, I've been told you need to do something, find something you care about and do that, whether that's a hobby or working in your community. And I think that's good advice. Find things that you want to do. Another thing we've done is we've traveled a little bit, mostly camping, been out west to Yellowstone and Mount Rushmore, and getting to see some of the country is a good thing to do if you like if you like to travel.
Because I know we see pictures of you with your RV, and that always looks like fun to go out and do that stuff. Do you have any favorite moments from those kinds of trips?
Well, it was kind of neat. We took a trip out west, and we went to Devil's Tower, which is in the movie Close Encounters of a Third Kind, right?
Okay.
Well, they show that movie every night under the stars on a big screen TV. So that was kind of fun to go watch that at the location that the movie was shot. So that was a highlight.
Okay. And if you were given the chance to teach again, would you do it?
Boy, that's a hard one. I mean, it's something I haven't really thought I wanted to do again. I mean, it's the schedule. I don't want to have the schedule. So I guess I probably wouldn't, or maybe if it was a one-night-a-week class, I might consider it, or something like that.
I remember, I think it was fall 2018 semester, I know, when you were teaching the one-night class. That was a nice thing about that night class. We never stayed super long, because I know no one really likes a night class, so, which was a nice thing. But before we wrap up this interview, any final words you'd like to say?
Well, I want to congratulate you on keeping your show going, and
Thank you.
And wish for you continued success. And I guess I'll still be around. Don't lose touch.
Definitely.
I tell that to anybody who is a student of mine. If they want to get in touch, let me know. I'm on Facebook.
Definitely. And I know I forgot to mention this. So how I was saying today, I'm celebrating the 4-year anniversary of my show. And it's funny because last time you were here was 2 years ago. And it was funny because at that time it was also, it's a coincidental in a way, but like you were on another farewell season of mine.
Yeah.
The first farewell season. And then I know at that time we're also celebrating anniversary. I think it was the 2-year anniversary of the show at that time. But for me, it's kind of like a full circle moment in a way. I know this season I wanted to reach out to people that have been on my show, haven't seen them in a while. But I know, because at the time 2 years ago, everything was still being done virtually on Zoom and all that. It was just nice to come back in person. I know definitely for me, this is a full circle moment. So
cool.
And I want to thank you for that. So
you're welcome.
But Mr. Carter, thank you so much for being here. I know you're going to stick around later on in the show, have you around for the game segment. But before that, we're going to take another commercial break. And so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on CTV. This is Caton'S Corner, everybody. Hi everybody, welcome into a brand new show here on CUTV. I'm your host Tom Caton and you are all tuning into the very first official episode of Caton'S Corner. Bye everybody. Bye everybody. Bye everybody. Welcome back to the show, everyone. At the top of the show, you heard me say this episode marks the 4-year anniversary of the initial premiere of Caton'S Corner. On February 22nd, 2019, I filmed the first official episode of Caton'S Corner from this studio. Yes, I thought the show was legitimately coming to an end in the spring 2021 semester because I was finalizing my work for my bachelor's degree at that time. Unknowingly, I returned later that fall semester to enroll in graduate school and launch season 6 of my show. But it is safe to say this show is actually coming to an end this upcoming semester. There will be no relaunch or third farewell season at all in the future. And although I know some people here are heavily pushing me for a doctoral degree, they know who they are, when I personally don't see the need for one, at least for right now. But anyways, for today's installment of Way Back, Look Back, I decided to look back at all the moments celebrating the anniversary of my show. With that being said, let's take a way back look back at how my show came to be and celebrating its 4-year run on CUTV. Take a look. Hi everybody, welcome into a brand new show here on CUTV. I'm your host Tom Caton and you are all tuning into the very first official episode of Caton'S Corner. It's going to be a talk show based program here on CUTV. I'm looking forward to it. I've always been behind the scenes on CUTV, running camera or doing something else, but this is my first time taking over a show here on CUTV. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited and it's going to be a great day. Join me.
How are you doing today, Tom?
I am doing wonderful. First show. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited.
You nervous?
A little bit. I was feeling it a little bit ago, but you just got to take a deep breath and all that, and we'll be fine.
I think you'll do great.
I think so, too. Now, today's show is a special one because we're celebrating the 1-year anniversary of the very first episode of my show. Well, not exactly 1 year. It's been over a year, because the actual 1-year anniversary occurred back on February 22nd, and that was a Saturday, and I didn't have a show that day. I did that opening monologue all based off of memorization and my note cards, and you probably don't know this, but in the early days of my show, I didn't use a teleprompter. I wrote everything down on my note cards, and I would have about 20 cards written out, but now, thanks to the teleprompter, I have to write about 3 cards. And it's crazy to believe how that was over a year ago and how things have changed. I had black hair, now I'm blonde. A lot of things changed. But in the end, I could not be more happy than hosting the show. I brought a cake for us today since we're celebrating the 1-year anniversary of my show. So we'll celebrate in a little bit. See, it even has a little one candle. Look at that. We'll celebrate afterwards. But with that being said, I'll see everyone next time. It's time for us to go celebrate the 1-year anniversary of my show.
But also today, it's a time to celebrate because it was almost a year ago at this time I celebrated the anniversary of my show, the 1-year anniversary, and now it's the 2-year anniversary of my show first premiering on CTV. The first official show aired on February 22nd, 2019. And just like I said, we celebrated about a year ago at this time. It was right before COVID shut everything down.
And before we get the show started today, there is a reason for celebration as we film today's show, and it's February 24th. 2 days ago, on February 22nd, marked the 3-year anniversary of the first ever premiere of Caton'S Corner. My show is now 3 years old. It's a toddler, and I can't believe that. It was on February 22nd, 2019, when the season premiere episode of Caton'S Corner was launched on CTV. Now, saying I was nervous that day was a total understatement. I was extremely nervous and terrified to step in front of the camera for the first time ever during my time as a crew member here in CTV. I worked behind the camera multiple times, but this was my first time getting in front of the camera. And I knew what to expect, but I did let my nerves get the best of me a little bit on that day we filmed. Furthermore, I can gladly say my opening monologues have improved over the last 3 years. I'm not saying that my monologues were ever bad. I'm just was not as fully prepared back then in the early days on the show compared to how I am today. So it's crazy to see how many things change in the course of 3 years. My set, my look, my hairdos, you name it. A lot of things have changed on the show during the last 3 years and 7 seasons, but I am grateful for delivering the show to all of you, and it brings me nothing but joy and happiness. After all, this is a profession I'm trying to land for myself in the future, so I guess it was a good thing I started the show when I did. Thanks forever and always goes out to Gary Smith, our director and advisor for CTV, for pushing and motivating me to launch this show. Thanks, Gary. You know I'll always appreciate it. And that is that. It's still surreal to me to see this show go on this incredible journey for 4 years and 9 seasons overall. Again, not many CTV studio shows have the capability of running this long. Best of luck to whoever takes over this stage next after my departure later this semester. And make sure you do tune in to the next episode for another installment of WAYBACK, LOOKBACK. All right, we're going to step aside for another commercial break, and when we return, we're going to play a game. Stay tuned. You're watching Caton'S Corner on CUTV.
Are you looking for student housing that is convenient, fits your budget, and promotes independent living? Look no further than Penn West California's Upper Campus student community at Vulcan Village. At Vulcan Village, you have 3 spacious floor plans to choose from, all with guaranteed private bedrooms and many with private bathrooms. Our community provides you fantastic amenities such as a 24/7 fitness center, convenience store, sand volleyball, and saltwater swimming pool. All apartments are fully furnished and have full kitchens and laundry. Utilities, internet, parking, recreation, and events all included. We provide you an all-inclusive experience that can't be beat. Schedule a tour and learn more today at vulcanvillage.com. Live here. Live well.
Welcome back, everyone. It's almost near the end of the show, and you know what that means. It's time to play a game. I'm still joined with my guest from earlier, Mr. Jim Carter. For today's game, I decided to bring back a classic game, one that tops all the other games I've played on this show. Let's play a quick round of Tom's Burning Questions, one of my favorite here. So here's how the game goes. I'll ask 5 random rapid-fire questions, and we'll just have to think of the first answer that comes to mind. If you swear, it's okay. It's very simple and fun. Let's go ahead and play. Mr. Carter, first one up. What items are worth spending more money on?
Cast iron pots.
I would agree with that, because I know cast iron isn't cheap. I know that much. I know for me, people that know me, I have an extensive cologne collection. I've only stated it a couple times. But I feel like with cologne that's higher priced up, I know it just looks nice and it smells nice, but also I think the scent lasts a little longer. All right, next one. Might tie in here. What movie do you enjoy quoting the most?
Star Wars.
Star Wars. Any particular ones or just the whole?
The whole
entire
series, they often say, "I've got a bad feeling about this."
I can say that on a daily basis. I know for me, The Devil Wears Prada. I love that movie because I've only seen it like 2 million times. But I think because the more you see it, the more you watch it, you're just able to quote and all that. And it's funny because sometimes I feel like I can relate to the characters in a way, but I know, it's just one of my favorites. All right, next one. What is not a big deal to most people but is torture to you?
Being barefoot.
You know, I'm going to go off of that because I hate seeing people wear flip-flops. It literally ties in with the bare feet because feet just disgust me. And I also think because I'll wear sandals or something from time to time, but like for me, what makes me the most uncomfortable is the like split in between like your big toe and your second toe. It just looks like it would be so uncomfortable for me. I don't know why it bothers me so much, but it does. All right, next one. What is one thing you'll never do again?
I'll never get married again. It worked the first time. I'm sticking with it.
All right. I know for me, I still got PTSD from it, but the one time I drove during a bad snowstorm, fortunately I was okay. But and me back at home, I live up on a hill, and sometimes the roads aren't the cleanest, and I was struggling to get up the hill. Thankfully, my grandma lives down the hill from us, and I called her when I was coming home from work. I said, if I can make it up the hill, I'm coming to spend the night at your house. And it was just, I literally thought I was so scared because I'm like, if I can't make it up this hill. I said, that's the only bad part about living up on a hill, especially in the wintertime. And they just don't really want to clean our roads that often. But I told my grandma, I said, I'm coming to spend the night. I can't make it up the hill, or at most, I'm literally going to park my car and walk up the hill. But, all right, last one. What is your favorite flavor of cake and why?
Chocolate cake with chocolate icing, because I love chocolate.
I know me, I'll have to go with red velvet because it matches my personality and style in a way. And it's funny because I have a cake on standby since we're celebrating the show afterwards. But that is how you play Tom's Burning Questions. And I see our time is up, so that does conclude today's episode of Caton'S Corner. I would like to thank all my guests from today. In fact, my only guest, Mr. Jim Carter. I would also like to thank everyone working in the control room as well. And lastly, thank you to the viewers for watching. Also, be sure to stay up to date with the Media Suite and follow CTV, WCAL, and the Cal Times on all of its social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Also, if you have not done it yet, subscribe to our YouTube page, CUTV Sports 1, for all future content as we continue on throughout the semester. I'll be back with another episode in 3 weeks' time instead of 2 because in 2 weeks we're on spring break. Crazy to say that. It's to see we're almost halfway through the semester. But make sure you tune in for that. Also, thank you so much for being a part of my final season. And until next time, please remember to stay safe, stay kind, and stay beautiful. Bye, everybody.